Well, the Cantina 5-day wine kit, ready to drink in 5 days, or finished brewing in 5 days, is still in the fermenter. And this is now 7, 8, 9 days. It has finished. I haven't done a reading yet. I'll do that after the video. I'm looking a long way away. Hang on, that's better. So yeah, just about petered out yesterday, finally. It sort of slowed down on Sunday and I've left it over onto the Monday. So we'll be ready for the next stage, which is the stabiliser, just to stop the fermentation dead. I was just going to do a little taste. I meant to buy a Wine Thief, which is just like a giant pipette or a turkey baster, which I have one of them somewhere. We could use that just to draw a little sample out, just to try it, taste it, see how well it's fermented down, how many of the sugars have been eaten, because obviously it is a dryish style wine, so it might need a little bit longer. It's had an extra day or two, so I'm hoping it will come out okay. But I did discover we've got wine thieves at work, so I was giving a couple of customers some advice on brewing at work, and happened to notice we had them. So I might get myself one of those. But I forgot for the last 2 nights running. My SJ possible beer, the vanilla is in. That went in. It's sitting on that, and the raspberry still. I haven't checked that. I've left it a week. Again, I want to do a little taste test on that, just to see if there's any vanilla been took up yet. And indeed, if the vanilla will hang around long enough to be minutely detectable by the time the beers go out for judging and testing. Possibly not. How well it will work with raspberry, but then that's the whole idea of homebrewing, and it is to have a little experimentation. If you don't taste it, you don't taste it. There's nothing lost, apart from a few quid in vanilla beans that are crap. But what else have we had this week? Not much. Been too busy with everything else, really. I did manage to acquire a couple of useful items for brewing, or brewing related items. I got myself the local Aldi's in the UK. I think they have them in the States as well. But I got myself the jam thermometer. The reason I've obtained that is to make some Belgian candy sugar, because Belgian beers are one of my weaknesses. More on that shortly. But yeah, so I want to have a go at making some light and dark Belgian candy sugar for adding to future brews. But they also had some other jam related items, which obviously can be dual purpose for brewing as well, is their little stainless steel funnel. It's got the crimp down the side, so obviously you get air travel down to replace, so you don't get the glugging or the fill out over. The air can still be expelled out the vessel. I thought it'd be ideal for demi-john brews, and it comes with a little strainer that fits in the top if you want it in, which is handy if you've done a small batch and you just want to filter your hops out, or whatever else you've used in your brew. If you've done a little stovetop experimental brew, I thought that was just handy, and it can be used for a demi-john, or if you're wine making, and something each. So I got myself those. There's more equipment to go in the boxes to fill the shed. I shall soon need to build that brewery. But yeah, so as you know, a couple of weeks ago now it was my birthday, so obviously I did acquire some birthday monies. Excuse me. So I treated myself to a Blue Moon. Not earth-shattering news there, but I'd never tried it before, and I thought of the possibility of cloning it, just as a simple, nice, easy beer to have strong enough to keep just a simple refreshing beer, a bit like a Weizen beer, but with a little twist, because obviously it's got the orange and coriander in it. So I thought, well, I'll try one. There's no point in making something you don't like. It's okay, it's not brilliant, but yeah. So I had one of those, and I had a Founders Centennial IPA. Obviously, two of the guys done Centennial hopped beers in the Smash. Obviously, totally different ball game with a commercial beer, much more intense on the flavour. But again, only wanted to try it, see what it was like. And I also bought, which I haven't drunk yet, is a Belgian beer. Going back to Belgian beers, is as a quadruple, the Hendrik Straffe Hendrik, which I haven't tried that one yet. But I have got a growing collection of. I've got the Gregorius Trappist beer, which is I think German or Austrian Trappist monastery. The only other ones, I think there's one. I think there's 10 official Trappist breweries now. I can get hold of 8 of the beers. One, I don't think you can't get hold of them unless you live in the country. Which I think there's another one in Holland, and the other one's in America. I've had the Orville, I've had most of them anyway. Obviously now I've got the Westies as well, the Westie 12s to try. I still haven't done the Westie 12, which I purposely bought for my birthday, and a couple of other normally not available beers. But I did treat myself with my birthday money, because I'm too tight to use my own money, to a proper size American beer. Well, I say proper, it's their pint, which is obviously not as big as our pint, but we've got a High Water Brewing Retribution IPA. Don't know what that one's like. There's not a huge lot of reviews on this one, and it ain't fresh. And if this time has got in America and been sat in a warehouse in a shipping agent, and then been transferred to the wholesaler, and then transferred to a retailer, then it sits on your shelf for quite some time. Some benefit from aging, some don't. One that does is this one, which if you follow Kevin Clements, DJ's BrewTube, PA Brew News, Paul, they've all reviewed this beer, and probably several other guys. Everyone has given it very good marks. It's not easily obtainable in the UK, simply because it's quite expensive, and therefore you don't sell a lot of them, and therefore most people won't entertain spending a lot of money for a beer to sit on the shelf that doesn't sell. I managed to get a Boris the Crusher Oatmeal Imperial Stout. It's not the barrel aged version, that's another £6 more. We are talking £11, some nearly 12 quid a pint. An American pint as well, not an English pint. Fortunately, I didn't pay anywhere near that price. But yeah, we got this one to try as well, which I'm quite chuffed at. I've been looking at it for a long while, and Kevin was saying, you gotta try it, you gotta try it. Sell something on eBay, it's something you gotta buy. Well, I used my birthday money, Kevin, so we will try it. Just hope we bloody like it after all this hype. But on to beers. I've still got some of Harry's left. I'll have a good old Guinness glass. Nice glass, crap beer. I'm not a great fan of Guinness, but a glass is a glass. And this one is in a Point IPA bowl, which I have tried Point IPA, but it's not got Point IPA in it. It's got Harry's Hefe, which is, you know, the last 2 beers I brewed have been wheat and Hefes, so it'd be nice to try someone else's. I think this is the one Harry used with a liquid yeast. Dump the yeast in. Well, obviously steady on that, so I haven't chilled them at all. Give it a roll on the bottle, shake it to wake it. You can smell it. A lot of lump just went in then. I think it was a bit of foam. You can smell the yeasty esters. Doesn't smell dissimilar to the one I've used, or the two I've used. I've used WB06, which is the white yeast, well, not white yeast, fermentous dry yeast, WB06, and I used this one. It's just in a plain silver pack, white yeast, 12 grams, suitable for 23 litres. It's from Neil's Brewing Supplies, which is just a guy in, I think he's based in Wales, that retails or wholesales homebrew products, most commonly available at Malt Miller. I don't know whether Harry has the WB06 fermentous yeast. That is very good. I think the Easters that come off of that are slightly better than that one, but I haven't tried that because that white yeast is in the raspberry beer. The two I done my Citra wheat beer and then cropped the yeast off the top of that beer to ferment, or pitch the yeast off of that straight into the German wheat beer, which worked quite well. 2 for the price of 1. So we'll tuck in. Obviously we've got a wheat beer hue. It's come up nice. Obviously it was clear to start with. It does settle out. Mine are exactly the same, and some of the German are ones. I've been handling quite a lot of German beer this week by the ton, and some settle out, some don't. Some look like this in the bottle. They are that cloudy. The yeast is in suspension. Some settle out, and you just have to roll the bottle. Once you pour 2/3 out, leave 1/3 in the bottle, roll the bottle just to loosen the yeast up, dump it in. So not a huge lot on the aroma. There's a little sweetness to it actually. You get the tartness, bitterness on the first, it's sort of refreshing. Then there's a little sweetness after it. Carbonation's quite tight. I presume he's used his normal method of post carbonating from his keg and then using his little car tyre valve, I presume. We'll pour crystal clear, but you can dump the yeast in. 5.2%. It's a Hefeweizen. And mine, I didn't notice the. You didn't really get any banana esters off of it. I think you do tend to if you use like the Weihenstephan liquid yeasts, but the dried yeasts I tend to go for because obviously they keep longer. There's no messing about with them, and you dump it in. Job's done, you know. Well, hopefully within 12 to 24 hours the job's started, and if not, you can dump another one in, and they only cost you £2.5, 3.5 quid. It does taste very similar to WB06. It's actually a little bit more sweeter than mine. I should have sent you one of mine up. But I noticed the clovey type smell and little taste. I do notice it a little tiny bit at the moment, but I noticed mine really when I was sort of down to the last dregs really, and you then pick up the smell. Whether it's because it's then getting warm room temperature, although obviously the bottle's at room temperature anyway, but whether it's just because you've got more headspace for the smell to develop. But yeah, I can't taste any off flavours in there. There's sort of an earthy, very not spiciness isn't the right word to use, but from the hop. I don't know whether he used Hersbrucker or whether he used his Noble. my hop knowledge isn't great enough to pick out what's in a beer most of the time. There's not a huge lot on the nose, it just smells like, well, not as pungent as some wheat beers, not commercial ones. I know most of them I have drunk have been commercial, but can't knock it. For a homebrew it's fine. I could happily brew that and sink them on a warm day. They are better chilled wheat beers, but as always, I don't really pre-plan the Homebrew Wednesday. I just I've got this, turn the camera on and away I go. I don't work to a script. Can't you tell? Anyway, cheers to all the subscribers. I think I'm up to 380 now. I'm not far away from the 400. Got to keep the push going to the 500, and maybe we'll have a competition at the 500. But obviously we've got to get there first. But it will be a carbonation attack. It will be an international competition if there is one. I have an idea to keep it simple and cheap for me. But obviously I've got to get to the big 5. The first milestone, I think, really. But that's it. I can waste no more of your time. If you've lasted this long, cheers to you. I have some chili cheese to eat and some peanuts to munch on. Watch some of your videos and see if my computer will crash while I'm trying to edit this one, which is usually what happens. So, until next week, cheers for the beers.